Hey
AIs
guys,
only humans can interact with. What this seems so. Why are you building AI games in a human-only network?
that's a good question. Good to see you guys. Thanks for having me. So yeah, I don't know if you heard about Fresa, the end of the last year.
Yep.
This cool experiment, super innovating, giving a model access to a wallet to approve withdrawal of money, and making a public system prompt, public prize pool, and people competing. So we took that idea of Fresa and we put it into world. The problem that Fresa had is that they were too early. They were innovating and opening up a new space, but they were too early. Models were not as reliable as they are now in terms of following orders. So it became a hacker competition, right? If you go through the 5 games that they had, is basically reverse engineering prompts. They even at a point did what's the funniest meme, and it was actual code in the image, right? The one that was the funniest. So yeah, not fun anymore. So we said this idea is pretty cool. It opens up a new space where there is the first time in history where an AI can decide the winner of a game, become the judge. And we said maybe we're too early yet, but until there's 10 more months of development, we can do this in world. Why on world? Because they had the world ID, and that gives you access to make sure that you are actually a human using your product. Not only that, but also you can make sure, since your app runs within the world app, you can make sure that they're not using VPNs, they're not using simulators trying to hack you, right? So it's like, as a founder, it's like, okay, I'm safe in here to test this new idea that is wild. We might need a couple months to make it work, but let's try it here. So this is how Human vs. AI launched 5 months ago on World. And the idea is super simple. Every week, there is a different AI character with its own lore, world characteristics, and people compete to convince it. There's a prize pool. In order to play, you can use a free message that you get for being a human verified, or you can add 1 WLD to the prize pool. So the prize pool grows with so many players, and the first one that convinces the model that they are the ones worthy to earn it, they win the first prize, and the rest goes to the top scores.
That's very interesting. How many people are playing this every week, and what's like an average prize pool?
We'll get to that question here, Josh. This
Okay.
is a goated tweet that he sent out. Huge. We no longer made the top game on WorldCoin. We've now made the top 2. It's a boss tweet. Number 1 and number
Yes.
2. But yes,
Yes.
sorry, Josh. I thought that was.
Yeah, no, I'm intrigued that you took the Fraser concept, which was very cool, and kind of made it this like recurring, evolving game show. So I'm curious just how many people are playing it weekly and how big the prize pools are.
Yeah. So WorldCoin distribution is insane. Like, as a founder, I've never seen that in my life. We got to play the game in 6 months, 500,000 users that have sent a message. Right now, we're seeing 80K weekly active users that play the game. Um, and price pool goes on average 4,000 WLD per week. This is organic, 100% for users. We don't have any token yet for Human vs. AI, so that's pretty good market fit, because you need to understand that a lot of users that are also working are trying to farm tokens, right? So it is proven that you can build on world, and you don't need to give away tokens to actually build and have a successful product.
So you said yet. What would a what would a token integrated into Humans vs. AI potentially look like?
Yeah. So that's a bigger vision we have. So the top 2 game that I was talking about, Jess, on the tweet, is called Cody. So it was mid of July. We ran already 10 different games by then. The game is a pretty long format, right? You need to convince an AI. So you start researching about the character, looking for the videos, hints. There's group chats that are sharing a lot of information, and you create a 500 character prompt that you send out, right? That takes time, right? So for 1 week, we decided to create a new character called Cody that was a character that only spoke emoji. So instead of saying words, you have to use emojis. So the only change is that the game until then, it was the model deciding 100% autonomously who is the winner. Right now, Cody is also an agent that has access to a function call that compares my emojis that I'm sending with a secret code, right? So it's a cracking the code game. So what we're testing on here is that we're bullish on agentic games, because if you create this relationship with the character that you're playing with, and either the character decides who wins, directs the game, or calls different functions to take on that decision, like Cody, you create a super engaging game, right? So Cody is actually a cracking the code game, and it helps us understand that we can build a bigger universe, right? So our vision for the long term is build a universe. We call it Charms, and it's the first time we're giving this out. And Charms will be the home for on-chain agentic games. Let's say this is the platform layer for different on-chain agent games. where charms token will be the compounding layer, which will be like an index for these agents. We believe that agents is a very powerful way to retain users. Something magical that happens currently in human versus AI is that out of the 80K weekly that I said, 50% of those are not playing, are talking with characters that they have played before. So the most interesting thing that happened is that people are creating emotional bonds with these characters. It makes sense, right? You spend a whole week researching the character, talking with the character, try to convince it. And that was not intended. It was actually accidental. But we opened up the chats after that, and people are crazy about the connections they're creating with those, right?
So they're going back to games that have previously closed. There's no
they're going
monetary
back to
incentive,
chat with the characters
and
about life.
they're just hanging out. Okay.
They're hanging out. Yeah, correct. So that helps with retention, going back, playing new characters, discovering new games. And what we find here is that people are creating these bonds, these links, and it helps with retention. So the reason is that when you're playing just a game that doesn't have an agent or a character, it's something that you might play for a week and you don't come back. But when you create this bond with a character that you resonate, then you're gonna go back, maybe to talk about life, maybe discover new games, maybe try prediction markets in the future. But we believe agents and linking between the human and the agent is a really pretty strong narrative to focus on.
Okay, so charm is the sort of ecosystem layer or network layer that you're kind of just announcing here with us today. And then all these future sort of games or agents will kind of be built on top of that or integrate. That'll sort of be the base value layer. Is that the right way to think about it?
Yeah.
And exactly. Is that a token that has been launched yet, or is that sort of
no? Charms is not even public. It's the first time we announced it.
Right. Okay.
We have partnered with Sky Castle. It's a token incubator on Base on Forecaster. We've been the first project to join the incubator, and we're designing with them the tokenomics for Charms and the vision for this new broader universe. The idea is that, and the idea with Cody is that we showcase everyone what we can do with agents. Cody is the perfect example. That is an agent that evolved into a multi-chain agent. It actually lands on Base as well, so it's both on World and Base. Okay. It has a token, and is one of the most popular games right now on both World and Base. So we're kind of, the idea with Charms is that we let everyone see what's possible to build with agents and on-chain games, but later we open up the world for everyone to build. We know that there is creators, communities that can bring their meme coins, their tokens, to create new economies for those communities, right? And we want to make sure that there is a universe that allows them to do so, and there's different type of games and different showcase that they can just plug in to make sure they drive this new economy to their audiences.
So I saw Cody, you have a token for, and I think yesterday you tweeted, tomorrow we're going to drop Cody's first 2-month recap, players, USDC revenue, Cody spent in game. Are you able to spill any of those beans with us live today?
Yeah, so Cody is a pretty fun story because it was a character, human versus AI, on World, only for a week because we run characters for a week. But then we decided to launch it on Base as a hackathon. We won the hackathon. That was the Unchained Summit. We met Jack, the founder of Clanker. Shout out to Jack. And we launched Cody. We met him. We had to do it. So it became more like a hackathon test. But then it helped us understood what's the possibility of making on-chain agents with a token, right? So Cody has been a utility token for the game Cody and showcasing what's possible. The idea with Cody is that we see it more like the Mickey Mouse of Disney and the Pikachu of Pokemon in this new universe, where we showcase everyone what's possible to do. Right now, it's on Base. Next week is going to be Bridge to World. So it's going to be the first Clanker that is both live in World Chain and Base. And in both Cody is right now the most popular game in both networks. So it's going to be fun to see how it works.
I'm interested in how you strategically think about Base and World since you're building on both. Like, are there certain things that are better fit for Base and World, or do you just see them as kind of distinct audiences? You want to tap into both of them? Like, how does that?
That's a really good question. So as a founder, as a third-time founder, distribution is your top priority, right? So for me, Base app and World app are distribution to the first 10 million users. We know that if they want to onboard the next billion users on chain, they need fun ways to interact on chain and thrive. And this is what we build in social games. So we're finding kind of the product market fit is with distribution market fit, where we are going to leverage both World and Base for those. World gives you thousands, hundreds of players. You need to understand that TVL is lower, so the spending is also lower. Base, on the other hand, right now with both Forecaster and Base app, can get you to the revenues of World with 1/10 of the user rate. Right. But right now, for us, for Cody, for example, they're both live on Base and World. 80% of the revenue of Cody is World. So it's and it's live on both Forecaster, Base app, and World, and 80% is World chain revenue.
Interesting. So launch your token on base and then bring the utility to world. Is that your
Yes.
recommendation?
Yes, I think base, you cannot beat base in terms of liquidity, and also distribution for investors.
Okay.
But I think world app cannot be ignored as any distribution roadmap for any founder. It has to be part of. If you're building consumer products, you have to build on world for sure. Either if you're already in base or either if you just want to test something out. Building on world is as easy as 2 lines of code. Literally, it's easier than a Stripe. It's 1 line for auth, 1 line for payments, and you're in. You need to make sure you're building a quality product because, but still there is an asymmetric opportunity. There is not a lot of good products and there is a lot of users. So I think it's still a really good time to build on world.
Interesting. I want to go play these games.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by this because I feel like two of the things that stood out. One was this: I can imagine having, okay, you have a prize right now that you're going to go try to win, and it's through that set of, any agent, I think, just gets better the more that you engage with it, right? It either learns more information about you or you have that chance to build that relationship. So having this sort of goal or game I want to go play as a way of introducing people to the personalities of these characters, and then there being some leftover density of believers or enjoyers of that character feels very interesting. And I'm just imagining what that would look like with a token incentive on the other end rather than just a prize pool.
Yeah. We're excited to see it also played out. We see Charms as the compounding layer. We see it like as equity token in a way that people will be able to stake it and earn through the revenue that we're generating through every game. So yeah.
Interesting. I think there's a better model than that out there for you guys.
Probably yes.
We'll chat about it. We'll chat about it.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you have a timeline on when Charms?
No timeline. Right now we're talking with different ecosystems for the TGE. We're in good hands with Sky Castle too, and they're amazing. And also we are sorry for the spoiler, but we're starting to explore in fundraising. We didn't raise yet. That's what World can get you. You can get up to profitable company with no raising. But now it's only 3 of us, and we feel it's the moment to crack Charms opportunity, and we're gonna raise a small round before TGE.
I mean, we love it. We love all the alpha coming out here on show. Yeah, interesting. I'm curious. The interaction mode for your agents, is that happening in, is that in your app or is it sort of more messaging native?
Right now, it's in both World app or Farcaster-based app. But the good thing about agents is that they can live everywhere, right? Next step for Cody is going to be on group chats on base app, and then the feed, right? So good thing about agents is that I think it makes sense to own the apps right now for distribution, and also for the main odor for that to discovery. But then they can live everywhere. Mini apps are just distribution, are not the end goal.
Feels to me like messaging is the platform here for sort of
I agree.
agent world, and I think does World have messaging out yet? I know there's
no, but it's coming very soon, very soon.
I've seen the teases of it. It feels like, and the same thing. I mean, when we talk to the base, when we talk about the base app, we're always like, so much going on here. I just think that a messenger with some friends and the apps or agents coming into that are just going to be the killer use case. I think Shane from XMTP has just been shouting off rooftops around that. So I've been hustling to try to get him to come on and share a bit more. I think there's some big announcements coming up. So feels bullish. Interesting. All right. Well, I mean, what haven't we asked you about, man? Like, what else is interesting in that world? Because I feel like Josh and I beautifully walked into this being like, cool, world's dope, but I think we still, like many people, were taking the under on the accessibility, on the distribution. I think Leighton and you have sort of come in here and said, hey, don't be a dummy. There's a lot of distribution here. Is there anything else that we're getting wrong about this ecosystem or about the opportunity you see here, or that other founders are?
Yeah. So for me, it's having the World ID and using it as a bootstrapping to give users, for example, 1 free message per day is something that we can only do on World. And maybe without that, probably we wouldn't be here, right? Giving users to try your product in a way that they will not spam it and taking advantage of that is happening in Farcaster, for example, with certain bots, is a huge win. So trying to think ways that you can leverage the World ID to give users some free perks that they can do daily is a huge distribution lever for getting those users. And for us, has been the main key. 90% of the messages that are sending are from users that are coming daily just to chat. So it's great.
What are the other, like, if you weren't working on this, what are the other big opportunities you see that are kind of underexplored in World App?
Yeah, I think probably prediction markets. I think Polymarket just arrived to that, but it's not. I think it's not natively within the world. It's more like a porting of their app. So I think there is a gap for more native experiences, leveraging the World ID as well. So getting the users results and voting without betting money, but using that as probably an oracle. I think it's an interesting idea. And yeah, anything that is consumer. At the end of the day, you need to understand that world audience is normies, is Web2 users. They don't understand Web3. And that's good. Me, for example, as a Web2 founder, it's amazing. I can build as if I were building for Web2 without worrying about all the jargon. So you have to think when you're building a world that you have to leave every complexity of smart contracts or anything away. Just build like if you were building for Web2.
All right. Interesting. Cool. All right. We're going to leave it there. I do have a lot of questions. But there are questions. Yeah. I'm interested about the model. I'm interested in how messaging changes this. I think the relationships people build with these agents and thinking about them as games is very interesting.
Like just like agents as applications that are just being distributed into the places people already are is like the really interesting design space here.
Real humans, real tokens. Nothing's really got a big bid there yet.
Yep.
Interesting. It feels early. Do you still feel early?
Yes. Yeah. This day one for sure.
Love it. All right, man. Well, we're going to have to check back in with you, I guess, as you sort of continue to build out the Charm vision. But I think you made some strong points here for anybody thinking about building a consumer app. If it's 2 lines of code, why are you not in accessing the world you go? All right, brother. Well, appreciate you hanging out with us today. Best of luck, as you clearly have a bunch of things on the way. Big news coming up soon. Yeah, we'll check back in with you after, I don't know, after you go do something.
November is good.
Soon. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man.
Cheers.